Welcome to the Young Turks. We have a hopeful show for you guys. Oh, I feel so good. It's a relief. First of all, the show, as always, is going to be chock full of fun and breaking news. You know, I think I underhyped yesterday's breaking news that we had with Sarah Palin and the insider we have at Discovery, who told us that the show is going to be, that people laughed when they were showed the presentation at Discovery Communications. Sarah Palin's Alaska is, of course, on TLC, the Learning Channel. That's part of Discovery Networks. Looks like it's going to be a loser, and we gave you all the quotes, but that story's blowing up today. I should have hyped it up more. I should have been like, oh, we got a story. All right, anyway, nonetheless, go. It's in blog form now on our website on theyoungturks.com. You can check it out there. Speaking of breaking news, later in the program, YouTube's top 10 hottest women, according to TYT. You don't want to miss it. We're going to blow it out. It's going to be crazy. Is Anna on the list? Anna is a woman. I don't know if she's in the top 10, though. All right, let's find out later in the program. All right, now, why am I hopeful today? All of a sudden, the Democrats, led by Barack Obama, fighting for somewhat real financial reform. Okay, now this is the issue that I care most about. I've told you, because I'm worried to death that the banks are going to continue to take crazy risks and destroy the economy, because that's exactly the trajectory that they're on now. And it seemed like whatever was going to pass out of the Senate was going to be weak sauce. But now, Obama laying down the law and saying, you know what? We will not weaken this bill. If the Republicans think that we're going to do bipartisanship, et cetera, and let them put loopholes in that the Wall Street bankers want, they got another thought coming to them. I was like, is this the same Barack Obama? What happened, man? Maybe that passing that healthcare thing was magical. Now he's emboldened and he's on the warpath. Like, all right, I like the new Obama. And remember yesterday we told you Mitch McConnell was, saying, and he was doing the talking points from Frank Luntz and saying, oh, there's going to be a big bailout for the banks, etc. And today, all the Democrats came out breathing fire. Ted Kaufman, Chris Dodd, and the list goes on, all coming out and saying, that's nonsense. What you're trying to do is you're trying to cover for the banks. I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this the same Democrats that I've known for the last 10 years? Now, don't get too excited, okay? What they're fighting for on derivatives is just not to regulate them as in, here are the derivatives you cannot do, here are the ones that are too risky, here's the ones that involve too much leverage. No, it's just so that we can list them on an exchange. But you know what? Look, I don't think it's nearly good enough. But for the moment being, I'll take it. Hey, at least they're fighting for something, and if at least we see them on an exchange, we'll get a sense of the scope of the problem. So, and then perhaps we can come in with tougher laws later. But look, I'm just so relieved that one, they're actually fighting for it. Two, they're not going to make the bill weaker. Number three, Obama's leading the fight. And number four, they've got the right issue. Derivatives. I've been saying for a year, it's the derivatives, stupid. And now finally, all of a sudden, everybody. Told you Stiglitz yesterday, the Democrats, and now Obama's saying, oh, you know what, the most important thing is the derivatives. And I feel like screaming at them, of course! But it's a great thing that they came around to that. Is that hope I see?
There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul.
And as any of you that have been watching this program for the last couple of months knows, I had a little bit of a sin-sick soul over that financial reform package. Now, it ain't done, and it's still going through the Senate, and it's still weak. Obama's trying to make it stronger. How refreshing are those words? Okay, pause and enjoy that. He's talking to the House and the Senate. He's talking to Democrats and Republicans, wasting his time a little bit with the Republicans. But you know what? The Republicans are running scared a little bit. McConnell got, attacked today by the Democrats, and a couple of Republicans did not back him. They started to slowly backpedal out of the room. They're like, yeah, that's cool, McConnell. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, raise money from Wall Street. That's a good idea. And they're looking for the exit signs. And now look at Dodd. I'm going to give you Dodd here. And he's not going to let McConnell's talking point stand. Okay, one last time. When's the last time you saw a Democrat actually attack a Republican talking point and rip it apart? All right, here it is, a new day in America.
Today I want to talk about bailouts. Nobody likes them, Mr. President, and under our proposal, they will never happen again. As the President said in his State of the Union address, bailing out some of the large banks whose own mismanagement caused the crisis was about as popular as a root canal, to quote him exactly. That, of course, happened under the previous administration, I should note. But serious legislators of both parties realized that we had no choice. Our system was so broken that these companies had become too big to fail. If we did nothing else, our entire economy would collapse, we were told. You would think that if you wanted to avoid being backed into the corner again, if you wanted to avoid more bailouts, you would oppose efforts to protect the status quo. But Wall Street's special interests needed a way to defend the broken system. After all, for many of them, the kind of mismanagement that cost us millions of jobs is the way they pad their profits and pay their lobbyists. And so they turned to Frank Luntz, their political strategist. Now let me tell you what Mr. Luntz came up with, and I quote from Mr. Luntz's memo that was leaked, unfortunately, for Mr. Luntz and others. But let me quote the partisan memo. The single best way to kill this legislation is to link it to the big bank bailout, end of quote. No matter what is proposed, no matter what's in the bill, no matter what the protections it includes, call it a bailout. It's a naked political strategy, Mr. President, and if it succeeds, and this legislation goes down, and another crisis sinks the American economy, then the next recession and all the damage that it'll bring to the working families of this country will have happened for the sake of that false talking point that Mr. Luntz has been proposing. Mr. President, it's straight from the Wall Street special interest talking points. That's what they're determined to do, defeat this bill by suggesting somehow that there's a bailout provision in this bill. Nothing could be further from the truth. The bill, as drafted, ends bailouts. Nothing could be more clear in the legislation.
Here comes Chris Dodd. Now, the last couple of statements, I'm not completely sold on. Will it definitely prevent bailouts? I'm not convinced. But that's because it's not strong enough. Not the Republicans' idea which is that it's too strong, too much regulation. That's a joke, right? But I love that he was breathing fire and he was taking on their talking points. So now, before we go any further, let me give you one more person who's taken on the Republican talking points. His name is President Barack Obama. Huffington Post reporting in a meeting on Wednesday, he insisted, Obama, that he did not value bipartisanship over a good, effective bill. He made clear that bipartisanship should not be equated with an openness to lobbyist loopholes and special interest carve-outs, that he would be unwilling to negotiate on some key issues, and that he could not accept bad policy in pursuit of bipartisanship. That's amazing! Oh, man. New day in America.
There is a bomb!
All right, now you see why I'm excited. I mean, that's the kind of talk that makes a lot of sense, because what did I tell you about finance? I said if they start talking about bipartisanship, that means the bill is dead, it's useless, it's hopeless. If they start talking about, no, we're going to do real reform, all right, then you can bring a little bit of hope into the equation. JR.
I don't want to be the slight negative thing, but it has nothing to do with the overall picture. I just wish something would have been tweaked. We did not hear the name Mitch McConnell, Senator McConnell, anywhere in that little section of Chris Dodd speaking. Maybe some point during the rest of the day, he pointed that out. He definitely threw Luntz under the bus, but you have to make the connection. And after this, Senator Mitch McConnell steps up and does exactly that. Guess who's working for the banks? Senator McConnell, Senator McConnell, Senator McConnell. How often do you hear Reed Pelosi, Reed Pelosi, Reed Pelosi? What happened to McConnell-Cantor, McConnell-Cantor, McConnell-Cantor? Why doesn't that happen? See, and maybe it's a bad game, maybe it's a childish thing, but that's why you're about to lose. Because there's not a name connected with it. They just say, oh, well, some random rogue Republicans are doing this. Who they are, I don't know. But I'm voting for Mitch McConnell this year because he keeps saying he's for us.
Well, JR, let me give you an analogy. The Republicans had moved the ball all the way down to the 10-yard line, okay? Well, you could argue they scored over and over during the Bush and Cheney years. But in this analogy, they're on the 10-yard line, right, of the Democrats. today it seemed like for the first time the Democrats had an amazing drive and moved the ball all the way to the Republican 30. They're almost in field goal range. I'm ecstatic. Okay, I got tears in my eyes. You're telling me they didn't kick the field goal yet or they didn't score the touchdown. I'm totally with you. Could they go further? Of course they can go further. But look, to all the pessimists or all the people out there who thought, oh, Cenk's a pessimist, or he's, in a some people were saying it's because I'm in a bad mood that I'm feeling this or that. Okay, no, I can't wait to be hopeful, right? So I'm all over it, man. They're almost in field goal range, right? So, but don't. And then I'll get the emails now telling me don't celebrate too early. And look, I couldn't agree more with you. Believe me, it's not like, hey, because they fought a little bit, I'm going to give them a pass on the bill and say it smells like roses. I still think the Senate bill is too weak. And I think just listing the derivatives on the exchanges doesn't do the job enough, okay? But look, get a load of how much the banks are panicking, okay? This is a good sign that this is beginning to be real reform, okay? The banks, before, remember how they were like the Consumer Protection Agency? They hated that and they wanted it to be inside the Fed or not exist. They didn't want it to have independent authority, et cetera. And I told you guys, if you were able to follow all the things that I ranted about on that issue, I said, look, that's great. I love the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, but it's not the main event, let's put it that way. It's real, it's great, et cetera, but the real event is the derivatives because that's where they're taking all the risk. And so, yes, it would be great to get protection on overdraft fees and credit card rates, et cetera. That's lovely. But it's chicken scratch compared to the $605 trillion derivatives market, right? And so when it looks like it's that Obama's pushing hard on this and they're actually going to try to put, list all of them on the exchange, the banks said, okay, what do you want? What do you need? We're ready to deal. All right, we'll give you the Consumer Financial Protection Agency. Done. Okay, come on. Just don't make us put the derivatives, expose how much we have in derivatives. So obviously, exposing how much they have in derivatives is very, very important. Now, get a load of what they're saying, by the way. Don't make us actually tell you what our trades are, not the prohibiting of the trades. But if you say, hey, wait a minute, isn't that discouraging? You're paying attention. That means that those trades could be catastrophic. They could be unjustifiable. That once we begin to see what those trades are, you're going to go, oh, this is nuts. Of course we can't let this bank bet $1 trillion when they've got 10 million in the bank. Now I'm doing an analogy there. That's of course not the real numbers. But think about it. How could they possibly have enough money in the banks to make $600 trillion worth of bets? The entire world economy is $60 trillion. There's $600 trillion worth of derivatives bets. You think that's sustainable? That's not. That's why I keep telling you, iceberg straight ahead. At least for the first time today, it looks like the captain saw the iceberg. And he's like, oh, yeah, I see it, yeah. All right, starboard, or whatever the hell they say in the Navy. Okay, port, something, move. Start moving that big ship so we can begin to try to avoid the iceberg. Now, other good things. Van Hollen, who's in the House, when they asked him about Democratic strategy, he said, what we're going to focus on in fighting back against the Mitch McConnells is derivatives. Okay, we're going to focus on all the different things, but we're going to put the Republicans on the line and say, look, are you in favor or are you against making sure we can find out what derivatives trades they're doing? And understand one wrinkle in that that's important. They already had it in the bill that they were supposed to put derivatives on the exchanges. But what they did, why I kept telling you they're weakening it and watering it down, is they created this giant loophole where they said, well, if you're an end user, like you're a farmer, remember what derivatives are originally supposed to be. They're supposed to be insurance, like, hey, you don't know what the price of corn is going to be, so you take out a derivative. That's perfectly legitimate. Not all derivatives are bad, right? But these are the, and again, it's like such a breath of fresh air. And now I'm reading articles where they're like, it turns out, golly gee willikers, the real problem was naked credit default swaps. Go back, 6 months, 8 months, a year, and watch our YouTube clips where I bored you to tears on naked credit default swaps. They're like, yeah, those are the ones that there's no cord. They're just making bets, right? And it turns out that that's kind of unstable. And I'm like, oh, thank God they found out. Right? and they're talking about the real issues. So anyway, Van Hollen's, what this does is, it says no loopholes. That's what Obama's saying now. And Van Hollen and all the Democrats and Dodd, they're saying, no, we're going to make you list all of the derivatives trades and not going to allow for any loopholes for the banks. That's great. You want to know something else that's great? Man, I'm excited today. Tim Geithner wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post. He's the guy that argued for the original loopholes, of course, right? And now, apparently, Obama's made a ruling inside the White House, and he's like, look, that's it. We're going to do it as tough as they can, right? And Geithner in the op-ed says, we should close all the loopholes, damn it. We should make sure that we can see all the derivatives trades. I was like, Geithner wrote this? At least they made him sign it, right? So that's another good day in America. Now, more Democrats being tough. They've unleashed the hounds in terms of, what else can they release, actually?
Release the Kraken.
Okay, all right. JR did it for me. So they do with an ad now. A Democratic group, not the Democrats themselves, but a group called, let me get the exact name for you, Americans United for Change. They're a progressive leading group, and they're supposed to be doing this kind of stuff, is attacking the Wall Street bankers for, well, you're going to see an interesting analogy they've chosen here. Let's watch clip number 3.
The president's plan to rein in the big banks has Wall Street squealing like a pig. They're spending millions of our money on lobbyists, trying to muddy the issue so they can keep pigging out on huge bonuses. Fortunately for the American taxpayer, pigs cannot vote in Congress. But there are those elephants in the room. Tell them it's time to hold Wall Street banks accountable.
What are you talking about, man? When's the last time a Democrat ran an ad calling people pigs and then comparing the pigs to the Republicans? That's awesome. I mean, I haven't seen that, I feel like, almost in my lifetime. Maybe 15 years ago. Those are hard-hitting. Okay, now we're getting a little populist. All right, now, all of a sudden, you know who's squealing? The Republicans. So all of a sudden, we got a little backpedal action going on from Senator Judd Gregg. Let me go to clip number 2, and let me see how he backpedals on this one.
The House Republican leader put out a statement tonight saying the Democratic proposals guarantee, quote, open-ended bailouts. Is that a fair statement? I know you disagree with some of the particulars, but is that a fair statement? Senator Dodd's bill in the Senate does have the shutdown plans, does create a mechanism to shut down firms if they get out of control, the so-called funeral plans. Right. They would have to put up money. Is it fair to say the Democrats want open-ended bailouts, or is that hyperbole?
That's a touch over the top. But they do have the problem that they have created an atmosphere, and the bill does not kill the atmosphere where too big to fail still exists, because it gives the Treasury and FDIC the ability to come in a bank that's overextended itself, or financial institutions that's got systemic risk, and allow that entity to be continued as it tries to work out the problems. The proposal, which was bipartisan, which was led by Senator Corker and Senator Warner, and which I strongly support, didn't allow that to occur. Unfortunately, that's been put on the shelf.
Yeah. When's the last time the Republicans ever took a step back? When he said McConnell's language and the House Republican leader's language saying open-ended bailouts was a touch over the top. Man, they're on their heels on this one, man. Normally, you know how they are. They lock arms, and they go over that cliff together, usually. But here, that's Judd Gregg stepping away from McConnell a little bit, going, hey, look, good luck to you, buddy. I mean, on that thing, you're going to vote against it. Go for it, yes. But I think Judd Gregg's going to vote for it. I think if you make it, look, that's why I argue for making it as tough as humanly possible. In the end, the Republicans have to vote for it. They can't be that mental. I mean, that's political suicide to say no. If the Democrats frame it right, and it's child's play to frame it right, if you actually care to do the things that they're doing now, attacking, et cetera, then for the Judd Greggs of the world, the Olympia Snows, the Susan Collins, to come in and go, no, we're going to vote with the bankers. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them if the Democrats showed weakness. And what McConnell was trying to do, and what has been forestalled a little bit today, is that he was trying to pretend to be the populist while actually being on the side of the bankers. And because the Democrats actually fought back, that didn't really work that well. You see, even in the media, it's not flying. And that's another huge change. So now the Republicans stepping back, and I bet Judd Gregg and those guys vote for it. Come on, let's make it tougher. All right, now look, final thing on this. I know I've gone on. I know I'm excited today, okay? But even if they make it as tough as, quote unquote, as tough as Obama wants, I'm afraid that it's still not nearly tough enough. But, you know, at least they're going in the right direction, okay? And they got to get there a hell of a lot quicker. But this is a place where I can accept the argument of, look, let's take this win and hopefully get another win later. Again, the clock is running, so I'm worried about that argument. I'm very worried about it, right? But it's not like the same as healthcare. In healthcare, if you don't change the underlying system, and we all still have to rely on private insurance, and they can still charge us whatever they want, all the other changes, I'm afraid, still, although they're good, since you didn't cure the underlying cancer, the patient's still going to die. That it's an unsustainable system. So that's why I was against healthcare in its entirety, because it's not going in the right direction. It's going, unfortunately, the core of it in the wrong direction, right? Here, at least if they got these so-called tough measures passed that are not really tough, they'd at least be headed in the right direction as opposed to the wrong direction. And that, again, is a relief. All right. Now let's come back and do some other issues. Young Turks. Welcome to the Young Turks. We got a great hour ahead for you guys. One of the things that I love doing on this show is busting up the conservatives. I don't know, did you know that? Especially Fox News and their silly commentators who repeatedly say things that aren't true. We have an excellent example of that today. Bill O'Reilly is going to have Tom Coburn on his program. Coburn had criticized Fox News for riling up people on something that wasn't true, and they're about to have a little debate about that. Now, after you see this clip, you think we might have other clips disproving O'Reilly? Now, that's going to be the fun part. First, let's let O'Reilly set himself up.
Republican Senator Tom Coburn from Oklahoma recently appeared at a town hall meeting where he was questioned about Obamacare, specifically how the government will punish people who don't buy mandatory health insurance.
If they can put us in prison, take away our liberty, are they not trampling on our Fifth Amendment rights by putting it under the IRS?
The intention is not to put anybody in jail. That makes for good TV news on Fox, but that isn't the intention.
Wow. All right, joining us from Washington is Senator Coburn. Biased by Fox News, Senator? Really?
Well, Bill, remember, the constituents that come to my town hall meetings, they routinely and uniformly listen to your network. And every network has some bias. I have a bias, you have a bias. You all work hard at trying to get that bias out. But the first question about people being put in jail, she didn't make that up. She'd heard that.
Okay, can you tell me?
So the point is,
yeah.
the point is this, Bill, is what we have to do if we're going to win for a limited government, for freedom, for liberty, for the expression that we all want to have in our country of our own individual rights, then we have to win on the real facts of the issues. And when we change those to where we inflame them, we lose our credibility.
Okay, and I've been saying that more than anybody, that personal attacks are foolish and propaganda is foolish.
For that.
Okay, but can you tell me one person on Fox News, just one, was told this audience that they'll go to jail if they don't buy health insurance?
Well, I didn't ask the lady when she'd heard it.
Well, why then was it legitimate to bring in Fox News to a discussion where, number one, you don't know anybody on Fox News, because there hasn't been anyone, that said people will go to jail if they don't buy mandatory insurance. And number two, the lady was asking a general question and you brought in Fox News. That wasn't fair.
When we overstate the case, and I will tell you, I've heard that in certain Fox programs, the case is overstated.
Tell me what, because it doesn't happen here, and we researched to find out if anybody on Fox News had ever said you're going to jail if you don't buy health insurance. Nobody's ever said it. So it seems to me that what you did was you used Fox News as a whipping boy when we didn't qualify there.
All right. No one has ever said it. It doesn't happen here. There hasn't been anyone. Can you name just one person who said it on Fox News? They say they researched it. You might have wanted to go to Media Matters. I know you don't like them, but they do a lot of research on you guys. Or the Young Turks. Just look at our YouTube clips. That would be great. O'Reilly, yeah, let's look on the Young Turks. What did we screw up? Well, here's one thing you screwed up. Bill, you want one person? How about Glenn Beck? Let's check out what he had to say.
If you don't play by their new rules on health care, ooh, here's a new little twist. Have you heard this? You're going to be looking at a fun little stint in jail.
Huh.
When people like me had a problem with people coming across our border, taking jobs, going and flooding our hospitals and our schools, taking the stuff, they didn't have a problem with that. But if you don't play ball with them now, if you don't get into their government health care, there will be jail time. And that, of course, is fair.
No one has ever said it on Fox News. You know, if you need research, J.R. Jackson will do it for you. Wait, you know, it turns out he's not the only one. Let's go to Sean Hannity.
Dick Morris was on the program last night. Penalties for people who don't get government-mandated health insurance. Jail time, possibility. Jail?
We are losing freedom. The Berlin Wall anniversary was just the other day, and these are the kinds of policies that used to be imposed on people behind that wall. One problem they're going to have, though, Sean, they're going to have to do something about prisons. If they're going to put all these people in jail, it costs $50,000 a year to take care of a prisoner, so they're going to have to do prison reform.
No one has ever said it on Fox News. You want another one? How about Judge Napolitano?
For the first time in American history, if this bill becomes law, the feds will force you to buy insurance you might not want or may not need or cannot afford. If you don't purchase what the government tells you to buy, if you don't do so when they tell you to do it, if you don't buy just what they say is right for you, the government may fine you, prosecute you, and even put you in jail. Freedom of choice and control over your own body will be lost. The privacy of your communications and medical making decisions with your physician will be gone.
Just name one person who said it on Fox News. You want me to keep busting you up all night long? All right, Billo, I'll let you off with just one more clip. I believe these two guys are named Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly. Let's watch.
All right, so now you're okay now, right?
Yes.
Fully recovered,
well,
80%,
now I'm with you.
90%?
100%. Don't I look great? I lost almost 6 ounces.
Yeah. Well, the problem with you looking great is you're in makeup for 3 hours. People don't know that, but you've got a team of surgeons.
I know. This is a fat suit.
The same people who took out his appendix does his makeup.
Yeah. I said to him, I said, while you're in there, can you like suck any of the fat out of me? Or
yeah, they could do that little thing. What do they call that with the little thing?
Liposuction.
Yeah, couldn't they do that at the same time?
They
wouldn't do that?
No.
All right.
I don't have universal health care.
Now, let's get, well, you will soon.
Oh, I know, or I'll go to jail.
Yeah, are you going to be a conscientious objector to health care?
You know, this is the first time in history in our country where just to be a citizen, just to not go to jail,
right?
You have to buy something.
I think you should go to prison for this cause.
Really?
I do.
Yeah.
All right,
that'd be fun.
I'll help you.
No one has ever said that on Fox News Channel, let alone on Bill O'Reilly's program. Can you name just one person who said it? How about 4? Did that do it for you, Bill? I keep busting you up. Okay, I think that'll do it. God, that's the great thing about O'Reilly, man. He sets himself up every night. He just says these things because he knows his audience is never going to check it. That's why they get so mad when other people like us do check it. They're like, those sons of bitches quoting us. Don't you dare quote us. What's that J.R. Jackson up to? Finding all those videos. What's the matter with him? Well, sad day for you, Billo. We got you on tape. I love it when they lie like that. Makes my day. All right, that was fun. Now, let's go on to another fun story. Speaking of healthcare, we've got a second doctor in America who's a conscientious objector, as Glenn Beck was talking about. And he says he's retiring. That's it. He can't take it anymore. It's just too much stress. He said, quote, if you voted for Obamacare, be aware these doors will close before it goes into effect. He's Arizona dermatologist Joseph Scherzer, who apparently has been a conservative for a long time. Now, of course, what he didn't say in his dramatic announcement that that's it, he's going out of business because Obamacare is driving him out, is that he is 65 years old and was going to retire anyway. Of course! Come on. What is it, 25-year-old? And he's like, nope, that's it, I can't take it anymore. No, of course he's got to do it. He says, quote, distress is what would push me out the door. Stress over what? He says the bill's emphasis on punitive measures for physicians not following government-prescribed treatment methods under Medicare would increase his anxiety level to the point he would no longer be able to practice medicine. So you ask him, well, what is it? What is these so-called government-prescribed treatment methods? There is no such thing. The only possible things he could be alluding to are what is called the comparative effectiveness research, which says, hey, you know what methods of treating people work and what don't, so we can weed out the costly, non-effective methods. Is he against that? You know, some Republicans, while they were debating this, were against it. I think that's mental. I think that's probably the single best thing in the bill. Is it going to stress him out? Oh, I got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. God, you know what, before I would just be able to do whatever I wanted to the patients. Besides which, it's not even mandatory. I mean, you know how soft this bill was. They're like, hey, listen, if every once in a while you could kind of figure out what's going right and wrong, that'd be great. Oh, that's so much stress. Oh, my God, I'm under stress. How about the provision on Medicare billing fraud? Is that what's stressing him out? Because, you know, is that the government-prescribed things? Well, that was proposed by the Republicans. It was proposed by Tom Coburn. Well, you know, and it's a pretty good idea, actually. And I said at the time, hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea by a Republican right there. Is that what's going to stress them out? That we're going to find out who's actually doing the fraud in Medicare? I thought they wanted that. Or could it be that they're going to increase payments to doctors under Medicaid? What's stressing you out, Scherzer? My guess is what's stressing him out is that he didn't make his tea time last week. And he figures, well, I already made so much money from being a doctor that I'm going to go ahead and retire and play golf the rest of my life. Which, God bless your heart. Nothing wrong with that, man. Thank you, you know, for being a doctor all those years. And that's how the system works. No problem with that. That has never been our beef. So just go away, okay? Retire and leave us alone. And don't give us this nonsense about how Obamacare drove you up. You don't know what's in so-called Obamacare. You don't know how it affects you at all. And it has absolutely nothing to do with your pre-scheduled retirement, okay? Scherzer, be gone. Oh, by the way, that urologist, you remember from Florida? The guy who put up the sign, who still has the sign up. He calls Fox and Friends every once in a while. Tells them, oh, no, he still got it up. Congratulations. That's Dr. Cassell. Right? He admitted in an interview with Alan Combs, and Alan Combs has been doing some great work lately. He's like, Alan's like, well, which part do you object to? And he went part by part. And then finally, he's like, look, I didn't read the legislation. I mean, it's not online. You can't read it. And Alan Combs is like, no, it is online, and it's been online for quite some time, well before it passed. So you don't really know what's in it, do you? It's, okay, I don't know. So, they're just Republicans. That's all they are. It's nonsense. One of the clients said, hey, listen, look, you got to keep politics out of this. He's a good doctor, but what's next? I won't serve people who are, you know, Obama clients, so what else won't you serve? Won't you serve people who are Catholics, who are Arabs, who are Jews? He's like, no, we can't have this. I'm leaving this doctor. So that's going to happen a lot, too, if these guys keep it up. It'll hurt their business. It'll be ironic. Okay, one more thing on not serving people who voted for Obama. Neil Bortz is a talk show host out of Atlanta, and he has sent out a tweet. Oh, you know, these are good, lovely. And he says, quote, if Obama is hurting your business and you have to lay off someone, why not lay off an Obama voter? They contributed to your problem. So isn't that lovely? So now you shouldn't treat people, patients who are Obama voters, according to some of these doctors like Cassell and Scherzer. And now Neil Bortz is saying, well, if you're going to fire people, you should ask them their politics, and you should fire the Democrats first. God bless America. I mean, I guess that's their view of how America should run. You know what, Neil, you can put an extra layer to this, too, and I'm sure my guess is he wouldn't even mind. If they're Obama voters, you send them to the most dangerous part of the mine, the part of the mine where you haven't done you know, your safety checks, and you haven't paid your fines, and you're in violation, and the gas is building up. That's where you send the Obama voters, right? All right, Young Turks. Back on the Young Turks. All right, we got a great hour ahead for you guys. I'm going to explain all this in a second, but you know what's coming up in this hour. I don't know if any of you are excited about it, but I am. The top 10 hottest women on YouTube. Our annual list comes out again. By our, I mean mine. So, just a little later in the hour, we will
release the Kraken.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Now, what is this? What's going on here? Look at this. We got this in the mail today. It's an actual, honest-to-goodness statue. It's for the 2009 Podcast Awards. Best political show, right. Young Turks. Beating Rush Limbaugh, my friend Bill Maher, etc. It's not a big deal. Beating Autotune.
Oh, no, we beat Autotune.
No. They weren't even in the category because they're not a political or news show. No, I'm just playing. I'm playing, man. People think we're bitter. I'm just playing. Okay. Anyway, it's a cool statue. It's the first statue I've ever won.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when I was in intramural soccer, we got a couple of statues for like coming in third. One year we came in first, but I hardly played.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've won quite a few statues myself.
So, well, of course.
Speech and debate.
Speech and debate, ballerina, I know.
Oh, I do have ballerina trophies.
See?
Hey.
Not a lot of people know that. Casper's a ballerina, quite literally.
Used to be, yeah.
Yes, used to be. All right. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank the TYT Army. All right, anyway, this is awesome. Okay. So, now, one other thing to celebrate before we get on to our weighty stories. And we got some great stories today. I always get excited about the third hour. All right, anyway. I think it was during a post game, right? That we talked about thefamegame.com.
Yes.
Okay, about how apparently I'm one of the 2,100 most famous people in the media or something like that. Celebrities, politicians, actors, etc., everybody included, right? I find that absurd and not credible. But nonetheless, we looked up everybody, and Ben Mankiewicz is on there. He's like number 16,000. Michael Schur's in the top 100,000. The one person that wasn't on the list was Casper. That mistake has been rectified. Coming in at number 230,801.
And one.
Anna Kasparian.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I mean, I don't even know what to do. Like I said on my Facebook account, that's it. I can just put my feet up and relax. I've achieved everything I need to achieve.
You're among the top 250,000 most famous people in the country.
Wow.
That's badass. I think you're way too low and I'm way too high. That's my assessment of that list. All right. Anyway, so more on that probably in post games, where we'll goof around more. All right. Now we got some great videos for you guys in the third hour. Let's get started.
We do have great videos, and we are going to start with Jerry Jones. He is the owner of the Cowboys. All right, and he was actually drunk at some sort of bar the other day, and someone took video of him as he was talking crap about the coach of the Cowboys and of Tim Tebow.
Uh-oh. This ought to be interesting.
Drama. It's a grainy video, but you can hear very clearly what he has to say about Parcells and Tebow.
Right. Former coach of the Cowboys, of course. Let's watch.
Romo was a miracle.
It was a miracle, wasn't it?
He almost never got in, and he almost got. Tebow was never hit the field.
What if you were the Jaguars owner? Would you just draft him to sell fucking jerseys?
That's the only reason I brought in Bill Parcells.
Sell
damn it fucking race.
That's what it is,
not right? Shit. I love him.
Yeah, I know you do.
He's not worth shit, but I wanted but they were on my ass so bad about Jay's got to have a yes man. So to get this fucking statement, I need to bring his ass in.
But you wouldn't take Tebow in the third round.
Why? You never get on the field. I can't get him out there. I can't get him out there.
All right. Oh, that's some tough words from Jerry Jones. I don't know. Was that big a deal?
Well, he says, I don't know if you heard, he said that Bill Parcells ain't worth shit.
No, yeah, that was tough. The stuff on Tim Tebow, yeah, he might not get on the field. Or he might. I don't find it that controversial. I love that people are like, he might have been drunk. What's the point in might have been? Okay, I mean, what, you didn't do a DUI test on him, field sobriety test on him, so can't report it positively? Yeah, he would have drunk. On Bill Parcells, look, Jerry Jones is an ass. He thinks he's the reason that the Cowboys have won any games at all, and that everybody else associated with the Cowboys is the reason why they've lost all the games, right? And that he's the idiot that broke up the band. I mean, they had Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. They won 3 Super Bowls. Well, they wound up winning 2 Super Bowls, one without Jimmy Johnson. But if they kept Jimmy Johnson, who knows? They might have won 4, 5, 6. God knows how many they might have won. See, because he's got this giant ego where he thinks, I have to prove that it was me. When in fact, football is such a giant sport. The teams are so big, the organizations are so big, that you have to have all the parts. You have to have most of these parts together: coach, players, owner, managers, etc., etc. And you can't do it all on your own. And and he put together a good team. You got to give him credit for that. I mean, he hired Jimmy Johnson in the first place, and they wound up with that great team back in the 1990s. And then he screwed it all up. So is it surprising that he's going to blame Bill Parcells and say he's crap? That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard in my life. Are you with me, J.R. Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, there's all the outcry over it. Oh, my God, he used the F word. Oh, man, he used the A word and the S word, too, and the whole thing. Yeah, but the question turned out to be, I mean, they said, is the commissioner going to come down on him for this? Well, why? What for? Because someone putting a cell phone camera on him and him saying some cuss words and having his opinion? I don't understand how this is a deal. If he's at a press conference and he's going off, okay, I understand because he's putting this out there. But when they say, oh, is Commissioner Goodell going to come down on him? What for?
Yeah, I mean, if he does, then he has to come down on all the owners who've ever cursed. Good luck. All the owners who've ever thought that they had shitty managers. Good luck. All the owners who think that Tim Tebow shouldn't be drafted in the first 3 rounds. What? Okay, can't be a relevant part of the discussion, obviously. And all the owners who ever got drunk. Wouldn't that? I mean, no, it's crazy. Jerry's 100% right. It's not his fault that there was some guy taping this, and he didn't say anything crazy. He said some things that anybody at a bar would say. He just happens to be the owner of the Cowboys.
Now, if you're Bill Parcells, do you just kind of chill, or do you say, hey, I'm not worth shit? I mean, he's really the only one who, if I can see a position being, damn. Yeah. They just threw, not that he was trying to, but here's his opinion. Maybe Jerry Jones said that to his face before. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Parcells is plenty motivated. That dude's going to give himself a heart attack. It doesn't really matter what Jerry Jones says or not. And you know what? Look, Parcells is a really controversial guy because people say that he builds teams to the point where they're going to collapse after he leaves. And that's an interesting and fair point. But he does build up teams. And he built up all the teams that he's been with: Giants, Cowboys, Jets, Dolphins. And so there's some chance that Jerry Jones, there's not much chance that Jerry Jones will see him in the playoffs because they'd have to go to the Super Bowl, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Uh-oh. Is the commissioner going to penalize me? I use curse words here, and I talk smack about a team. All right, we'll have to see. All right.
By the way, I could kind of see why he would get in trouble or people would frown upon what he said, because think about it in our perspective, right? So let's say I'm at a bar and I'm saying really negative things about Jesus, and I'm just like, yeah, Jesus ain't worth shit, blah, blah, blah. And somebody's recording that and they put it up on YouTube. You'd be upset, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Would there be any type of punishment for that?
No, of course there wouldn't be. I mean, what do I say? I'd be like, hey, listen, you got to just look out for cameras because, you might think that on your off time. I mean, I can't prevent that. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's not my business. But I'd just be like, keep one eye out for cameras.
Should I delete that cell phone shout out to
Just kidding.
All right. That's good enough for that. Let's do the next one.
Okay, we have another fun video, and this is a video of Fox and Friends. Brian Kilmeade wrestles with a UFC champion by the name of BJ Penn.
No, this is great stuff, man. Kilmeade's going to take him on. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Don't do that. And the result, I think, is very funny. Let's watch.
So sometimes you have to knock a guy out or choke him out, right, to be successful?
Yes.
All right. Now, let's say, hypothetically, you and I get in the octagon. Let's say they have enough money to get me in there. I'm a little bit heavier than you. As much as I like this book, Joe, hold on to it a second. Hypothetically, let's just say that we end up in a situation where you have to neutralize me, and you know I'm 170 pounds of fury, of muscle, and you've never seen anything quite like it. The first thing you're saying, where's the door? The second thing is, I can't get out of this.
So I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, man, this guy looks like he can punch really hard. I can just tell looking at you, you know. So the first thing I would do is like, wait up.
2, 3.
Uh-oh. Not
Brian,
fun.
how many pounds do you have on him?
You give up? Hey, you're pretty strong. Very strong.
Towel. I got a towel. Someone throw a towel in. I got a towel. Here, I got to throw my coat in.
Brian, you're fired.
Wait, we got to stop this. Wait, we're done. Whoa, no.
Hey, Mr. Penn.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
Why would you put yourself in that position? That's embarrassing.
You know why? Because that clown thought maybe I could hang with him.
Oh, that's really, really embarrassing.
Of course. I mean, because he wasn't like, hey, demonstrate this. He was struggling. Like, he was trying to get the better of him. Because he thought, well, I'm bigger than him, and I'm Brian Kilmeade, and you're looking for the door. What the hell's a door? Anyway, and in the middle of the little thing, in the first...
He gets teabagged.
Right. The first 20 seconds, BJ Penn's like, tell me how my ass tastes, Brian. Tell me how my ass tastes.
170 pounds of fury right there.
Right. And by the way, I mean, BJ Penn's not really trying. I mean, he just could have snapped his arm right there at the end, right? He's just trying to keep the guy down so he doesn't, come out later and be like, oh, yeah, I beat BJ Penn, yeah, Kilmeade. I think he should have just sat on his face a little longer, and that would have done the job. All right, fun for everybody. Okay, it's fun to see Fox and Friends finally get what they had coming.
All right.
All right, what's next?
24-year-old Amanda Flowers claims that she now developed persistent arousal syndrome due to an injury she had while playing Wii Fit. So she says that now, every time she feels the vibration of a food processor, it turns her on. She says that the doctor told her she suffered a damaged nerve, and that has provoked the persistent arousal syndrome.
Now, here's my question, right? Every single story we've done like this about persistent arousal syndrome comes from the UK, right? So is it something about Great Britain where you guys are just like randy and you're like, oh, Siktalan, oh, no, oh, that one, oh, Siktalan, right? Is it something in the water? Or is it that just the British media loves this kind of nonsense? It's totally made up, and come on, you're not orgasming from a food processor. Remember the lady who said she was twitched away and would have like 300 orgasms a day? Right. Where was she? The UK. Okay. On the other hand, it makes me want to visit the UK a little bit more. I mean, when I was there, I didn't see that. I didn't see people like,
Maybe this is a widespread problem that the U.S. media hasn't picked up on yet.
Think about it.
Right. Except for us, TYT has been covering it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because we're in national television. We see these trends before they even hit our shores. And, I think mainly in the U.S., though, this is triggered by overexposure to TYT.
Right.
There are women right now all across the world going,
Is that what happens when women orgasm?
Isn't it? I mean, that's what I was led to believe, no?
All right, I'm not going to go there. All right, we have another Wii-related story. So apparently a lot of people get into accidents with their Wii, and we have one particular video where a gentleman is playing on his Wii and a disastrous outcome happens.
I'm sure there are like a million of these, but I was amused by this one. Let's watch.
Oh.
Mama! Oh, gosh. Mama!
It's broken.
Yeah, that'll do it. I believe that's called a we fail.
Yes. Wow.
By the way, I'm telling you, there's dozens of those online where there's another kid with a baseball bat, and he's like, all right, I got this one. Washington, oh no.
You know what you can do? You can go out and actually play baseball, and you don't have to worry about breaking your TV doing it.
Yeah. When we were kids, we didn't have Wii, but we did have baseball and a bat.
Right. There are bowling alleys. There's lots of fun out there.
On the other hand, I was playing baseball one day with my friends when I was a kid, and we didn't just break the TV. He hit a line drive right back into my face and broke my front 2 teeth. So there's that too. I mean, that's some old school fail.
Right. But you built memories.
I did. I lost teeth, but built memories.
Right.
I remember I was pitching, he line drive, boom, and I went like this. He's like, oh, good catch. I was like, I didn't catch it. There's like blood all over here.
Oh.
And he's like, oh man, your teeth are missing, right? And I was like, I kept feeling my lower teeth. I'm like, no, they're there, man. They're there. I was like, Washington.
Oh, disaster.
Yeah, there was a lot of disasters there. Back in the days when kids would play outside. Okay. You know what? Let's take a quick break here. We've got disastrous divorces coming up.
Yes.
And, God, we got so many good stories. And plus, of course, the YouTube Top 10 Hottest Women. All right, it's coming up in a little bit. Young Turks. Thanks for watching the video podcast. Of course, if you go on our website, theyoungturks.com, you can get the whole 3-hour show.
Plus an uncensored post-game show.
That's if you become a member on theyoungturks.com.